Okay, so yesterday we came midway talking about the opulences of Krishna. Krishna has Krishna has started to speak about his vibhutis because Arjuna wanted to know how you can know from the, because he has mentioned that he is the source of all spiritual and Arjuna and material worlds, and Arjuna has accepted it. And he also quoted the various sages that has said, not just him, because he's his friend. And after having said that, he said, I want to see what are your vibhutis. And Krishna starts to speak about his vibhutis. In the beginning, he said, I am the beginning, I am the middle, I am in the end. Of the Adityas, I am the Vasu. Then of the radiant objects, which is this like glowing objects like sun, I am the sun. Of the shining stars, I am the moon. Like that. He has given various ways. What it means is, of all the opulent things that you see, stars are generally, you see, out of the stars, then the moon is the opulent thing among the stars. So moon represents Krishna. It means that Krishna is represented by moon. Moon represents Krishna. It means that. So anything opulent, anything great within that a particular category, that is representation of Krishna. Krishna is not that, but it is that particular thing is representing Krishna. Like among the people, monarch is the topmost. The king is the topmost person among the human beings, among the general population. So king is represented, the monarch is representing Krishna. Krishna is represented by monarch, like that. So he is continuing on the various, we were at 30, we finished 30 and we have to do 31, I guess, 31 onwards till end of the chapter, which is not many verses. It's 12 or 13 verses after that. So we will go through that. I think we will be done quickly today. I'll share my screen. Yeah, text 31. Srinivas Prabhu, if you want to recite, I will say it. Are you there, Prabhuji?
Mataji, he left a message saying he's on listening mode because his son has service in Brampton Temple.
Oh, he did? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, I forgot it. Okay, then I didn't know that. Okay, Debbie, you can say. Pavana Pavatamasmi
Pavana Pavatam
Rama Shastra Vratamaham
Rama Shastra Bratam Aham
Jasana Makaraschasmi
Jasana Makaraschasmi
Shotasamasmi Janavi.
Shotasam Asmi Janavi.
Of purifiers, I am the wind. Of the wielders of weapons, I am Rama. Of fishes, I am the shark, and of flowing rivers, I am the Ganges. So, among the purifiers, what is the purifying agent? Wind is the most purifying agent. It can even um, purify any filthy place also. So that's the potency of wind. So among the purifiers, no amount of perfume can work when wind is blowing, right? So among the purifiers, wind is the topmost purifier, and it is representing Krishna. Krishna is represented by the wind in that category. Among the wielders of weapon, I am Rama. Rama is the greatest warrior of all times. So he has weapons. So he is the greatest wielder of weapons. Fish is the sharks. Among the fishes, shark is the biggest fish, greatest among the fishes. So Krishna is represented by shark. And as you all know, Ganges is the very uh, purifying river. It is the topmost among the rivers. Krishna is represented as Ganges because that's it's flowing from the lotus feet of Krishna himself. So it's a very purifying river. So that's what Krishna says, that among the flowing rivers and Ganges. Next, he'll say, now when we look at the river Ganges or think about it, now you can think that Krishna is represented by Ganges, like that. So anything that you see in the universe, wherever you go, it should remind us of Krishna. So that's the point. This one talks about the Abhideya process, right? Like how you can establish your relationship. Although having understood that we are part and parcel of Krishna, now we need to act in that relationship. So acting in that relationship comes when you practice it. It has to be implemented. It has to be practiced. Devotional service, knowledge is at one level. After that, we have to practice. That's why we have certain items that we have discussed in the beginning, how we can remember Krishna at certain times of the day so that we can increase our consciousness of him. And that is when we consciously do. But looking at the very things that we have in the universe, that should also remind us of Krishna. So this is where we can see, like among the rivers, Krishna is the rivers, Ganges is representative of Krishna. Next, Shalini, you can say Sargana Sarganamadirantascha
Sarganamadir
Madhyam Chaivaham Arjuna
Madhyam cha Aivaham Arjuna
Adhyat Adhyatma Vidya Vidyanam
Adhyatma Vidya Vidyanam
Vadaha Pavadatamaham.
Vadaha Pravadatam Aham. Sorry. Hare Krishna.
Of all creations, I am the beginning and the end and also the middle. O Arjuna, of all sciences, I am the spiritual science of the self. And among logicians, I am the conclusive truth. So this is Krishna started off with this actually. I'm the beginning, I'm the middle, I'm the end. Again, he's saying of all the creations. So creations is Sarga. Sarga, Visarga, if you have heard about that. Sarga is creation. Of all the Sargas, I am the creation, I am the beginning, I am also the end. And then of the sciences, what are the different sciences that we know of? Anybody?
Is it the material sciences like physics, chemistry, and so on? Or
Is related to the
spiritual
and
sciences?
soul, body, mind, and soul. It could be. That would be Adi Bhautika.
Yeah.
It's about the body, right? Physical. But then we have Adhyatma is what it is represented here, that Adi Bhautika, Adi Daivika, which is related to the material, the devatas and so on. Adhyatmika is to know about the science of self-realization. So Krishna says, I am the science of self-realization. Adhyatma Vidya, among the Vidyas. So one who, that's the highest Vidya. So is a representative of that. And of all the logicians, logic, anything logically people speak, right? Any arguments you want to say, whatever is the conclusion of that argument, again, truth related only, not anything that people can distort the truth and present the logic, but then anything among logics that has been presented and the conclusive truth is representing Krishna. You can read the purport.
Sure.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna. Among the created manifestations, the first is the creation of the total material elements. As explained before, the cosmic manifestation is created and conducted by Mahavishnu, Garbhodakshai Vishnu, and Kshirodakshai Vishnu, and then again it is annihilated by Lord Shiva. Brahma is a secondary creator. All these agents of creation, maintenance, and annihilation are incarnations of the material qualities of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, He is the beginning, the middle, and the end of all creation. For advanced education, there are various kinds of books of knowledge, such as the four Vedas, there are six supplements, the Vedanta Sutra, books of logic, books of religiosity, and the Puranas. So, altogether, there are 14 divisions of books of education. Of these, the book which represents Adhyatma Vidya, spiritual knowledge, in particular, the Vedanta Sutra, represents Krishna. Among logicians, there are different kinds of arguments. Supporting one's argument with evidence that also supports the opposing side is called Jalpa. Merely trying to defeat one's opponent is called Vitanda. But the actual conclusion is called Vad. This conclusive truth is the representation of Krishna.
Toshi Mataji. Aksharanam akarosmi. I can't hear you.
Sorry, Mataji. Aksh. Mataji, something is wrong with my system. I guess.
No, it's okay.
Aksharanam akarosmi.
Dvandva samaksikasya cha.
Dvandaha samasikasya cha.
Aham ekashaya kalo.
Aham mevakshayah kalo.
Dataham vishwato mukaha.
Dhataham vishwato mukhaha.
Of letters,
Of
I am the letter A, and among compound bonds, I am the dual compound. I am also inexhaustible time, and the creators, and of creators, I am Brahma. So the letter A starts in the beginning. So Krishna is representative of that letter. Aksharanam akarosmi. Dvandva samasikasya cha. Samasas are, we have read in your school, the grammar. Samasas, we'll get like dvandva samasa, like dual. Any examples of that? Any examples of dvandva samasas?
Mataji, like bar bar, when we say the same word two
Yeah,
times
give me
in
example.
Hindi.
In Bhagavad Gita, there comes this pratak pratak. There is this word that comes in one of the verses. So that's a dvandva.
Yes,
When
Mataji.
when
But I
you
said bar bar, like again and again, like bar
exactly
bar,
two
Hindi.
times if you say the same word, then that is the dvandva samasas. So Krishna is represented. There are other rules in grammar, but this is the little amusing. It's like kind of amusing when you hear about that dvandva. So Krishna is representative of that. Then what else? It says at the eternal times, akshaya, akshayaha, eternal. Kshaya is to destroy. Akshaya means it cannot be destroyed. Of the eternal time, of the eternal things, he is the inexhaustible time, and of the creators, he is Brahma. Please read the purport.
Akara, Akar, the first letter of Sanskrit alphabet, is the beginning of the Vedic literature. Without Akar, nothing can be sounded. Therefore, it is the beginning of sound. In Sanskrit, there are also many compound words, of which the dual words like Ram, Krishna is called Dvandva. In this compound, the words Ram and Krishna have the same form, and therefore the compound is called dual. Among all kinds of killers, time is the ultimate because time kills everything. Time is the representative of Krishna because in due course of time there will be a great fire and everything will be annihilated. Among the living entities who are creators, Brahma, who has four heads, is the chief. Therefore, he is a representative of the Supreme Lord Krishna.
34. Vigyan Prabhu. Mrityu sarvaharaschaham.
Mataji, you just went outside.
You can read. Yeah.
Okay.
Can you read?
Yes,
Lamina? Yeah. Mrityu sarvaharaschaham.
Mrityu sarvaharashchaham
Udbhavascha bhavishatam.
uddavascha bhavishyatam
Kirti shrirvacha narinam.
Rittishirvakcha narinam
Smritirmeda dhrithi kshama.
smritirmedha dhriti shama.
I am all devouring death, and I am the generating principles of all that is yet to be. Among women, I am fame, fortune, fine speech, memory, intelligence, and steadfastness and patience. So, yeah, read the purport.
Mataji, he is back. He can read.
Okay.
Yeah.
Purport.
As soon as a man is born, he dies at every moment. Thus, death is devouring every living entity at every moment. But the last stroke is called death itself. That death is Krishna. As for future development, all living entities undergo 6 basic changes. They are born, they grow, they remain for some time, they reproduce, they dwindle, and finally they vanish. Of these changes, the first is deliverance from the womb, that is Krishna. The first generation is the beginning of all future activities. The seven opulences listed: fame, fortune, fine speech, memory, intelligence, steadfastness, and patience are considered feminine. If a person possesses all of them or some of them, he becomes glorious. If a man is famous as a righteous man, that makes him glorious. Sanskrit is a perfect language and is therefore very glorious. If after studying one can remember a subject matter, he is gifted with a good memory or smriti, and the ability not only to read many books or different subject matters, but to understand them and apply them when necessary. Is intelligence, medha, another opulence. The ability to overcome unsteadiness is called firmness or steadfastness, dhriti. And when one is fully qualified yet is humble and gentle, and when one is able to keep his balance both in sorrow and in the ecstasy of joy, he has the opulence called patience, kshama.
Yeah. So of all the devouring death, I am Kalosmi. What is this? Mrityu Sarva Haraschaham. Krishna is the death as also the generating principle. For something to die, it has to take birth. So that generating principle is Krishna. And he is also the middle, like he said. But among the beings that get taken birth, he is the generating principle. And they grow, they sustain, they maintain, they become with byproducts, and then they vanish. So that vanishing thing is her death, which is Mrityu. So Krishna is the beginning and the end of the living entities. And among the women, fame, fortune, fine speech, all that he's saying, intelligence, steadfastness, and patience. Did anybody ask a question? Did I hear the sound? Yes. Hello? We missed you yesterday.
Mataji, I'll tell you, it was very funny. I read Srinivas's Prabhu message and I thought you messaged that. So I thought that the class is cancelled and I didn't join.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, and I just realized when today Srinivas Prabhu mentioned that, the devotee is fine. And I was like, oh, it was him. And then that is when I realized that I missed the class yesterday. But yes. Okay. So my question is, that is this understanding correct when Krishna says, among women, I am fame, fortune, fine speech, memory, intelligence? When he says among women, he is actually referring to the feminine nature of these opulences and not actually women. Is this correct?
Exactly. Prabhupada has made it clear, right? I was looking for
Yeah.
the thing, but he said it is man. So seven opulences listed are fame, fortune, fine speech, and all that are feminine in nature. They are,
Yes.
and
Is this?
it's if a person possesses,
Mhm.
it's person. So it's not man and women. It is anybody. If a person is famous as a righteous, that makes him glorious. Yeah, you're right.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah. Yeah, we can get misunderstood that it is talking about women here. Yes. But Acharya has made it clear that it is these qualities are listed as feminine, and then one who possesses is glorious. Okay, yeah. Palak, you can recite. Brihad Sama Tata Samnam
Brihitsama tatha samnam
Gayatri Chandasamaham
Gayatri chandasam aham
Manasam Margashishoham
Masanam margashishoram
Ritunam Kusumakaraha.
Ritunam kusumakraha.
In the hymn of the hymns in the Samaveda, I am the Bhrid Sama. And of poetry, I am the Gayatri. Of months, I am Margashisha, November, December. And of season, I am flower-bearing spring. I read the purport, please.
Yes, it has already been explained by the Lord that amongst all the Vedas, he is the Samaveda. The Samaveda is rich with beautiful songs played by the various demigods. One of these songs is the Brihad Sama, which has an executive melody and is sung at midnight. In Sanskrit, there are definite rules that regulate poetry, rhyme, and meter, are not written whimsically, as in such as in much modern poetry. Amongst the regulated poetry, the Gayatri Mantra, which is chanted by the duly qualified Brahmanas, is the most prominent. The Gayatri Mantra is mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam because the Gayatri Mantra is especially meant for God realization. It represents the Supreme Lord. This mantra is meant for spiritually advanced people, and when one attains success in chanting it, he can enter into the transcendental position of the Lord. One must first acquire the qualities of the perfectly situated person, the qualities of the goodness according to the laws of material nature, in order to chant the Gayatri Mantra. The Gayatri Mantra is very important in Vedic civilization and is considered to be the sound incarnation of Brahman. The Brahma is its initiator, and it is passed down from him in disciplic succession. The month of November, December is considered the best of all months because in India, grains are collected from the fields at this time and people become very happy. Of course, spring is a season universally liked because it is neither too hot, neither too cold, not too cold, and the flowers and the trees blossom and flourish. In spring, there are also many ceremonies commemorating Krishna's pastimes. Therefore, this is considered to be the most joyful of all seasons, and it is the representative of the Supreme Lord Krishna.
Nothing much to explain. Prabhupada explained everything. Yeah.
I have a question, Mataji.
Yes.
So, Mataji, it's so talking about mantras, I have heard that when somebody gets initiated, they are given mantra by their guru, right? I want to know, are those mantras different than uh, the other mantras, and can that be Gayatri mantra as well?
That is, Gayatri Mantra. When Guru initiates, second initiation is when they are given Gayatri mantras, a set of mantras. So they are given it and they are not spoken out loud. Nobody can explain them like that.
Correct. And how, like, on what basis is these mantras given? Just the basic knowledge of it. Like, how different people are given different mantras? How is it decided?
It's not different, it's same, at least in what we follow. The same mantras given to, again, glorify the Supreme Lord only. But they are not outspoken, they cannot be explained any further. So when you get second initiated, you will be given this.
So one more question, Mataji. I think even if somebody is not initiated and they are following the four regulative principles, right? So how would somebody getting initiated make a difference for them to be able to say that mantra? Because I feel everybody says that, you need certain sort of qualification to get the mantra, right? So is the qualification only the initiation, or is there anything extra that the initiated people do that makes them qualified to say that mantra?
So that becomes the surrender to Guru. That qualification, although you are following all the four regulative principles and everything, but surrender to Guru, that's very important. Krishna has stressed that in 4th chapter, Bhagavad Gita, 434. Tadviti pranapatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnanina statvadarshana. So only through the medium of Guru can they be realized, those mantras. Otherwise, you can read them. They are also printed. It's not that they are not printed. In Brahma Samhita, it comes, some of those. If you have read Brahma Samhita text, the book that we have, they are there, those, some of the mantras are there. So, but that doesn't mean that you will get full potency of that. Full potency comes when it has been received in the disciplic succession through the medium of Guru. So that's the difference. Otherwise, ordinarily it is there because it's all printed. Somewhere it is printed. If you read it, you won't get the same potency. It's not the same as just reading. That is not same as getting it receiving it from Guru. It has to be received. That is why disciplic succession is very important. So the spiritual knowledge is always descending. When you read on your own, it becomes ascending. You are trying it on your own. You are learning on your own. So that's ascending. Spiritual knowledge is always given, it's descending. It has to descend. Only then it will be effective.
Thank you, Mataji.
Yes,
Can
Devi?
I add also to what you said, Mataji, for Falak Mataji as well? I attended a class and they were saying why it's so important to get initiated because, as you said, all of us are following the four regulated principles, we're chanting regularly, but it's only when you take initiation that you make a vow that you're going to follow it the rest of your life. Because right now, we can still stop, but it's only when you make that full commitment. Not only that, they were also saying that we only get closer to Krishna if we surrender to a bona fide spiritual master. Otherwise, it's just like the devotional service we're doing doesn't have the same potency that you have after you surrender to a spiritual master and then you listen to the instructions of the master and you follow there. So that's why they were emphasizing how important it is to get initiated. So
Thank you, Mataji.
just thought I can add that. Thank you, Mataji.
Thanks. Did you read Palak?
Yes, Mataji, I just read the last one.
Sonal Mataji.
Yes, Madam.
Dyutam chalayatam asmi.
Yutam chalayatam asmi.
Tejas tejasvinamaham.
Tejas tejasvinamaham.
Jayosmi vyavasayosmi.
Jayo asmi vivasayo asmi.
Sattvam sattvatamaham.
Sattvam sattvavatam aham.
Okay. I am also the gambling of cheats, and of the splendid I am the splendor. I am victory, I am adventure, and I am also strength of the strong. Please read the
Thank
purport.
you. There are many kinds of cheaters all over the universe. Of all cheating processes, gambling stands supreme and therefore represents Krishna. As the Supreme, Krishna can be more deceitful than any mere man. If Krishna chooses to deceive a person, no one can surpass him in his deceit. His greatness is not simply one sided, it is all sided. Among the victorious, he is victory. He is the splendor of the splendid. Among the enterprising and industrious, he is the most enterprising, the most industrious. Among adventurers, he is the most adventurous, and among the strong, he is the strongest. When Krishna was present on earth, no one could surpass him in strength. Even in his childhood, he lifted Govardhana hill. No one can surpass him in cheating. No one can surpass him in splendor. No one can surpass him in victory. No one can surpass him in enterprise. And no one can surpass him in strength. Thank you. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
No one can cheat Krishna. He's a gambling of all cheats. So when this happened, when Bali Maharaj came, when Vamadev came to the assembly of Bali Maharaj, he said, I want 3 pieces of land. What did Bali Maharaj say? Oh, you are a dwarf, small boy. What do you do with the 3 pieces? I can give you more than that. Then Vamadev said, no, I'm okay. I just need only 3 pieces. I don't need more than that. If you can give me, give. Otherwise, I'm going. You are sending away a Brahmana. So then Bali Maharaj said, okay, fine. I'll give you 3 pieces of land. What did Vamadev do? With one piece of leg, he covered the entire world or the entire universe. All that you see here. And the other, he covered the upper planetary systems. And where do you put the third? Then he asks Bali Maharaj, no, you said 3. I only got 2. What do I do? So that you cannot cheat Krishna. He will come up with a better plan than us. Even with Hiranyakashipu. Hiranyakashipu said, I don't want to be killed by this and that, here and there, weapon, none of that. And what did Narasimhadev do? Not in the day, not in the evening, in the twilight, which is just beginning of the darkness, in the dusk. It's neither night nor evening nor daytime. It's dusk. And then not with a weapon, so he uses nails. And not inside or outside, not in the air. So he chose the middle portion of the house, which is the entrance. So like that, when you come up, try to cheat, then he'll be a better cheater. So like that, you can understand Krishna is the cheater of all cheats. And all the others that Prabhupada has explained nicely, how the strength he has lifted Govardhan Hill, no one can do at the age of 7. Even if they are trying to do some lifting, some hard, big boulders, but nobody can lift a mountain like that on a pinky for 7 days. Yeah. Next we'll read next verse. Mrudula Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
37. Rishinam Vasudevosmi.
Rishinam Vasudevosmi.
Pandavanam Dhananjayaha.
Pandavanam Dhananjayaha.
Muninamapi aham Vyasaha.
Muninamapyaham Vyasaha.
Kavinam Kavihi.
Kavinamushana Kavihi.
Of the descendants of Vrishni, I am Vasudeva. Of the Pandavas, I am Arjuna. Of the sages, I am Vyasa. And among great thinkers, I am Ushana. So, yeah, please read. Prabhupada will explain everything, so we don't have to go again. Yeah.
Krishna is the original Supreme Personality of Godhead, and Baladeva is Krishna's immediate expansion. Both Lord Krishna and Baladeva appeared as sons of Vasudeva, so both of them may be called Vasudeva. From another point of view, because Krishna never leaves Vrindavana, all the forms of Krishna that appear elsewhere are his expansions. Vasudeva is Krishna's immediate expansion, so Vasudeva is not different from Krishna. It is to be understood that the Vasudeva referred to in this verse is Bhagavad Gita is Baladeva or Balarama, because he is the original source of all incarnations and thus he is the sole source of Vasudeva. The immediate expansions of the Lord are called Swamsha, personal expansions, and there are also expansions called uh, Vibhinna Amsha, separate expansions. Amongst the sons of Pandu, Arjuna is famous as Dhananjaya. He is best of the men and therefore represents Krishna. Among the Munis or learned men conversant in Vedic knowledge, Vyasa is the greatest because he explained Vedic knowledge in many different ways for the understanding of the common mass of people in this age of Kali. And Vyasa is also known as an incarnation of Krishna, therefore, Vyasa also represents Krishna. Kavis are those who are capable of thinking thoroughly on any subject matter. Among the Kavis, Ushana Shukracharya was the spiritual master of the demons. He was an extremely intelligent and far seeing politician. Thus, Shukracharya is another representative of the opulence of Krishna.
Sukracharya could understand when Vamandev came, he could understand because he's intelligent, right? He's great thinkers, he can foresee. He could see that he is not a dwarf boy, he is Vishnu himself. So he discourages Bali Maharaj, his disciple, not to give that whatever he's asking, because his Vishnu will take away everything. And Bali Maharaj didn't listen to his spiritual master, Shukracharya. He went ahead. So we can argue both ways. He didn't listen to his spiritual master, but he surrendered to Krishna. Right? So that's how he could know that that small dwarf, Vamandev, is not a small boy, but he is Vishnu himself. And Prabhupada is explaining that among the descendants of Vrishni is Vasudeva. He is Vasudeva himself. Vasudeva is coming from Krishna. So the first expansion of Krishna is Balaram. From Balaram comes Shankarshana. From Shankarshana, these four expansions, Vasudeva, Shankarshana, Pradyumna, Niruddha comes. And from that Shankarshana, then Mahashankarshana comes. From him comes Mahavishnu. From him comes Garbhodakshay Vishnu, Kshirodakshay Vishnu, and so on. So look at the number of expansions. So they are called as Swamshas or Vibhinnamshas. These are all Swamshas. Like first expansion is Balram. From Balram comes Shankarshana. From Shankarshana comes the four quadruple expansions. They are called Swamshas. They are Krishna himself expanding. And then there are Vibhinnamshas, like, plenary portions. Yes, Shalini.
Slightly off-topic question, but because we are looking at the expansions and we know that Krishna actually expanded himself for each of his 16,108 queens. So it just occurred to me, why couldn't he expand himself for Radha Rani and the gopis at Vrindavan rather than have them pining for him all their life? Was it that he wanted to enhance their love through the feeling of separation, Vipralamba?
I guess so, you know the answer.
No, I'm not sure if that's the answer, which is I need clarification, Mataji.
Yeah, he wanted to expand and enhance their hankering, and he also wanted to show love in separation, right? That's the highest. Otherwise, Krishna, everyone think I want Krishna with me all the time, but then there is a love in separation. He's teaching that, and also he comes in the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to glorify that itself. It's love in separation, which is Vipralambha Bhava. That's more glorious than working along, serving when physically present. Because for them, in the absolute plane, there's no difference between separation and union in the absolute. Because they are when they are together, they are experiencing pleasure in togetherness, and when they are separated, they are experiencing the ecstasy of separation. So the ecstasy is still them, the bhav is still same. It's just these are absolute on the absolute platform.
So it was also to teach us, like setting an example for us, because we know we are not going to get Krishna. So we probably also need to be constantly devoted to him in separation. Maybe that's
Yeah, love in separation is highest. Teach by example. Yeah.
okay. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Debbie, you.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please correct me if I'm incorrect, but I also heard that Radharani got also a curse that she'll be separated from the Lord for 100 years. And so that's another reason why they had to be separated and why, like, we don't see them get married. Why is she not the 16,108 wives, even though Brahma did conduct a marriage for them secretly? But it's one of those reasons. That's what I heard. That's why they were separated. And it's also similar to why Sita Devi, Sita Maya and Ram were also separated because of that curse.
Yeah. Krishna does one thing. He fulfills a lot of many things. His pastime. He came down to the earth to fulfill certain mission. Paritranaya sadhuna vinashaya chadushkitam. If he is in Vrindavan, he will not be able to do that Paritranaya sadhuna vinashaya chadushkita principle. That as well as the curse to fulfill. So many things. Krishna, when he does one thing, he is not just doing one thing. When we are doing something, we are just doing that. But when Krishna does, he does many things to fulfill that. So everything fits in place. So that's one way to there are many different flavors to add to the same point. Yes, this is one. Also, what you said, Debbie.
Thank you. Could I also ask you another question? Because I've also heard that Krishna and Arjuna are referred to as Narayana, so I get confused. Does that mean that Arjuna is also an expansion of the Lord?
Narayana.
Yeah.
Narayana. They are not, he's not, Narayana is Narayana, he's Nar.
He's not. Okay.
Yes. So they are there in Badrinath. Their deity, Narayana deities are there in Badrinath. Yes.
Thank you.
Mataji, can you throw some light on Ushna, Shukracharya? I have not heard these names before.
I just said, right? Shukracharya.
Yes, I mean, who are they? What is the context? Like, we know who was Arjuna, what's the story, the background story. Similarly, what's the background story for Ushna and Shukracharya?
I think Ushana is Shukracharya. His name from here.
Yes, but like, what did they do?
He is the spiritual master of the demons. Like Brihaspati, we saw it in the 21st verse or so. Among the priests, the supreme priest is Brihaspati. He is the priest of the Devatas. So similarly, there is a priest to the demons, for the demons. So he is Shukracharya.
Why does Krishna say that among the great thinkers, I am Ushna? I mean, what's the reference? Like we know Vyasadeva wrote all the scriptures, right? So we know why he says them that he's the knowledge descendant. So similarly, what is the thinking reference here?
So I gave that story past time, right, just now. How Shukracharya, did you miss it? I just said.
I think I did.
Shukracharya is the demons, is a spiritual master of the demons. And he would always encourage them to become more powerful than the Devatas. So that's how he uses all his resources. So in that way, he is preparing these people, demons, to fight against the demigods. And among them, Bali Maharaj is the strongest person. is very strong because he's coming in the disciplic succession of Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj's grandson is Bali Maharaj. So he's very strong. So nobody can withhold him, withstand him. So, and they are going to attack the demigods. So Diti prays, then Vamana Dev, Lord Vishnu comes as Vamana. That is how he is one of the Adityas. In the beginning, we saw one of the verses in this section only. Vamadev comes, then now he wants to reduce the power of Bali Maharaj among the requests of Indra and other devatas. So he goes to the assembly of Bali Maharaj asking for the 3 paces of land. Without Ushara,
That one. Okay.
Shukracharya knows that who is this person? Dwarf is not dwarf. He's not that small thinking. He's Lord Vishnu himself. So don't surrender
Right.
to him. Don't give him what he's asking. That's what he says. So that is his intelligence, right? He's able to discern that.
So can we say that, sorry for my lack of knowledge, but I don't know, is Bali Maharaj considered a demon?
He is a demon coming from the family.
Oh,
He is a great devotee.
okay.
So he is right now in the Patala. He's in that yeah, one of the lower planetary regions. He is residing
Okay.
there eternally. I think Patala only, where Bali Maharaj is his doorkeeper. So Bali Maharaj took away all his land. He even surrendered. He even tied him up with the threads as a captive. He binded him with the ropes as a captive because he didn't give him the last piece of land. And then he was sent to Patala. And Bali Maharaj is acting as his doorkeeper there. So he didn't leave him with that. So when the next day of Brahma comes, or when the next Manu starts, with the 8th Manu, he will become Indra. Bali Maharaj will become Indra. In the next day, we are in the 7th day of Brahma right now. When the next day of Brahma comes, he'll become the Indra, next Indra. So that is this position. He's been given that position, even though everything has been taken from him. So that's why the personification of self-surrender is Bali Maharaj. He surrendered everything. All his possessions, everything he surrendered.
Got it. So correct me, is my understanding, and did you say that because he was not able to give the 3rd piece because he promised that I'll give you put your foot in any 3 pieces of land and I'll give you that, and there was no space for the 3rd one. Wasn't it that he said that you can put that foot on my head? So that was where the 3rd and that is how he surrendered himself.
Yes. Yeah.
Then what is the demonic quality he has that he's considered a demon?
He is coming from the Hiranyakashipu's lineage. Hiranyakashipu, Prahlad Maharaj's son, forgot his name. His son is Bali Maharaj. So he is demon from the family of demons. So they are always attacking the demigods to usurp their property.
Oh, okay.
So that is what Bali Maharaj is now ready to overcome and take away the property of the devatas. Because he had that desire, he couldn't do in this life as a demon, because demons are not the ones who are ruling. Krishna doesn't like demons to take the position of rulers. That's why this is Paritrana, Sadhuna, a feature of Krishna. He doesn't want, because they are one of them is a devotee, great devotee. Bali Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, they are devotees. But their followers are not. They are against the principles of religion. So they don't want them to become the devotee, taking the highest position. So he is sent to Patala. So the next day or the next time Manu comes, his wish will be fulfilled when he becomes the Indra.
Thank you, Mataji.
Virochana Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Virochana, yes.
Virochana. And Bali Maharaj is a Chiranjeev, right?
Yeah, he's there right now. He'll come back as a Chiranjeev.
Yeah, Bali Maharaj was asking the boon, saying that all his generations coming down should not be killed or eliminated by Lord Vishnu. When he was asked a boon, that's why nobody was killed, but then they were at the Patala like Bali Maharaj. And then, Mataji, I have a quick question. What is the story of Valli Deva? Valli is the one who is the concept of Kartikeya, which is coming from this story. if you have the information on that, please.
Which one? Vali.
Valli is the name of the consort of Kartikeya, Lord Kartikeya, which is coming out from Vamna Dev in Patala.
No, I haven't heard like that. I don't know.
Yeah, that's the Lord Kartikeya is son-in-law of Lord Vishnu by that means.
Okay.
Prabhuji, Vali, like, I think Bali or Vali, isn't their same name? Like,
No,
No, they're
Bali is
different.
Bali Maharaj, and this is Valli is the name.
Vali, and isn't there Devyani as well? I think Devyani is
Devyani is
the Lord's daughter.
Yeah, Indra and Sachi Mata's daughter is Devyani, which is also another consort of Lord Kartikeya. But Valli is also coming out from this Bali Maharaj Vamana Dev history. So that's why I asked that doubt.
Okay.
No problem.
I don't know, Prabhu.
No problem, Mataji. Thank you. Let's check on that.
Yeah. Yeah, you can recite, Prabhu. Push Prabhu.
Sure.
Yeah. Text 38. Dando damayatam
Dando tamayatam
Nitirasmi jigishatam
Nitirashmi Jigisatam
Maunam charvasam guhyanam
Maunam Chaivasmi
Chaivasi
Guhyanam
Jnanam jnanatmatam aham.
Jnanam Jnanatvatamaham.
Among all beings of suppressing lawlessness, I am punishment. And of those who seek victory, I am morality. Of secret things, I am silence. And of the wise, I am the wisdom. Okay, please read purport, Prabhu.
There are many suppressing agents, of which the most important are those that cut down miscreants. When miscreants are punished, the agency of chastisements represents Krishna. Among those who are trying to be victorious in some field of activity, the most victorious element is morality. Among the confidential activities of hearing, thinking, and meditating, silence is most important because by silence one can make progress very quickly. The wise man is he who can discriminate between matter and spirit, between God's superior and inferior natures. Such knowledge is Krishna himself.
Among the suppressings of punishment is also when we have to give punishment to the right candidate, then that punishment represents Krishna. Victory is among those who see victory and morality. Among secret things, I am silence. And otherwise, I am the wisdom. How can of the secret things I am wise? Can we say anything about this point? Among the confidential activities of hearing, thinking, meditating, silence is the most important because by silence one can make progress very quickly. Any experiences on that?
Mataji, can you repeat the question, please?
I'm asking among the silence, when Prabhupada is saying silence is most important because by silence one can make progress very quickly. I'm asking, is there any experience? Have you even thought something of this sort so far? Yes.
If I am silent, Mataji, then I will feel that I do not know anything, and maybe that could be one of the reason I am silent.
Yeah, that is one obvious reason. People are silent because they don't know much to say. But here it is silence is most important because by silence. Yeah, let's hear about from others. Yes, Palak.
Not doing the right?
So I would say this is not a realization, but close to a realization. Once I sat quiet for about 4 to 5 hours, I was not saying anything. And honestly, I was not even doing anything. So I just sat doing no activity and just quiet. That was the first time when I realized the chatter in my mind. There was a lot of chatter. Somebody was talking inside. That is when I realized that I am not my mind. Mind is a very separate thing which talks on itself, because I could say the fact that I am not saying all these things, then who is this inside me saying all of these things? So I think we talk about the soul, right? The consciousness that we are. So that is when I realized that it's a separate thing. There is something separate. So that was my close to realization of silence, that I am not my mind, which helps me take control of it when it just goes here and there. So that realization stays with me and I'm able to take control of it.
Yeah, it's very powerful. Prabhupada didn't say it just like that then.
Yeah.
See, it's just 4-5 hours you could get that realization. And also it saves us a lot of energy. We can conserve our energy when we don't speak. But chanting is not as speaking. Okay? Chanting is not speaking. So you can chant and you can be silent. You can practice that, like how many hours you can do within an hour, or start with an hour. In this hour, I will not speak anything except for chanting. And see how your mind, like you said, it subdues. And also it conserves a lot of energy, which can be more productive. Yeah. So I would want all of you to practice this silence for some time in the day. If you can do that for the upcoming week homework, that will be it can make a lot of progress. So when we do some japa, usually there are some japa retreats that happen. They conduct 32 round day japa, 64 round day japa, and so on. Some acharyas, some spiritual masters. So when they do, they ask the devotees to practice mauna. Mauna vrata means not to speak anything, irrelevant topics. Relevant, important, emergency, that is allowed. But irrelevant, not necessarily like how are you doing, how is this going, all that, if you can stop for a day and then only chant, how much of time and energy can be saved, and how much of within contemplation from inside happens, like you experience that. Well, that's very profound actually. It's very powerful that you differentiate it between yourself and the mind. Mind chatters, so we can take control of. Many people struggle with this, right? Mind, whatever the mind tells, they do. That is where they are totally surrendered to the mind. They just do whatever mind is telling. This, look, I need to do this. Not even thinking for a second that this is separate than me. I don't want to do, but it is telling, let me subdue it. It's no, that's very sad situation. Unfortunate for a lot of people. That's why let's practice silence. I will also practice that from today to next 1 week. Practice certain portion of the day without speaking anything, if you can do it. But japa is not within that category. Japa can happen not speaking mundane items, mundane things. Reading scriptures can happen in the mind, probably without speaking much. Not, it means including, try to subdue your thoughts also. That's
Mother, Jalpa will be considered like that, right? Not doing the Prajalpa in the.
Sorry, Mataji. Jalpa?
Prajalpa, yeah.
Prajalpa is that, like talking, and like, how are you? How is this? How are you? How is that? Like that is Prajalpa. Or even talking about other people is also Prajalpa. Jalpa is inquiry. Prajalpa is when you involve people and talk bad against them.
There is a thing, I don't know. It's called Vipassana, where people, they go out of their place, live somewhere with a other group, practice 10 days, no talking, just talking no phone, no contact with the family, just eating 2 times, only in the silence, totally not totally, cut with the society, and practice silence. That's Vipassana. That's not 10 days come and you are again in the material world, right? Not, I
We
mean,
are
with
not
the people.
encouraging that. We are encouraging keeping
Yeah,
quiet and doing japa.
yeah.
Japa is not considered as breaking silence. So they might not add. I don't know what they do, but that's not what we are talking. We're talking to keep silent with ourselves. We're not talking anything, but continue with the japa. Practice that for how much ever time you can do and try to increase that. Kanika?
Hare Krishna Mataji, just a quick experience I want to share that at least from a I've noticed that with silence, right? I mean, it helps me at least to respond and not react. Because everybody is operating in the three modes of material nature. So when there's a lot of silence, then that just adds to helping to respond versus react. And also, I've noticed that the only way I'm able to exercise compassion is if I'm silent, because communication is a lot about understanding what is not being said. So when people react, whether that is the other person or me, you go like, oh, maybe they were not having a good day, or maybe this is what they wanted. But when you're silent and you really go into the depths of why you said something or why they said something, then you realize, okay, maybe they were looking for validation, or they were looking for acceptance, or they were looking for love at that point. So I think definitely when you chant, and the way at least with me it's worked, if I've increased my malas, that's just helped me become very, very intuitive.
So only positives, you see. Intuition, intuitive, introspective. Yeah. Yes, Debbie?
Yes, I wanted to say beautiful realization from everyone. They said many things I was also thinking of. But one thing I also wanted to realize is there is also a time and place for silence, because in school we used to have vow silence in my high school days where they would tell us to be silent for a day. And it's really hard when you're in an environment and you want to participate. So there is, as you said, a good thing we can read scripture still, good thing we can do japa still, because it's really challenging sometimes to be silent. But as Kanika Mataji says, it refrains you from saying things that you shouldn't say, so helps you not react by being silent. So being quietly taking something, even if someone says something that you disagree with, when you take it in, you also prevent yourself from saying words that you regret, that you can't take back. So it helps you also purify yourself
Yeah,
as well while being silent.
exactly. Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, practice this. How can one of you put it as homework on the chat?
I can do it, Mataji.
Sure. Yeah, thank you. Text 39. Who didn't read today? Toshi Mataji, did you put your hand up? Did I miss it?
Yeah, Mataji. It's almost same, Mataji. I was sharing my experience with the silent. We feel very peaceful when we are silent. Most importantly, we feel like we got our all the answers. There's no much questions left in the mind. We feel very relaxed. And if we are silent, I think we save ourselves from so many. We are there in the material world, but still we are a little bit separated from it with a thin line when we are silent. I feel like that.
Yeah, so practice it. Share your realizations again next week on the same topic.
Sure, Mataji. Thank you.
Text 39. Kanika, did you read today?
No, Mataji.
Yeah.
No.
Text 39. Yachapi sarvabhutanam
Yachapi sarvabhutanam
bijam tadaham arjuna
bijam tadaham arjuna
na tadasti vina yatsyan
na tadasti vinayatsyan
maya bhutam characharam.
maya bhutam characharam.
Furthermore, O Arjuna, I am the generating seed of all existences. There is no being, moving or non-moving, that can exist without me. Please read the purport.
Everything has a cause, and that cause or seed of manifestation is Krishna. Without Krishna's energy, nothing can exist. Therefore, he is called omnipotent. Without his potency, neither the movable nor the immovable can exist. Whatever existence is not founded on the energy of Krishna is called Maya, that which is not.
So he is the generating seed of all existence. Bijam mam sarvabhutanam vidyupada sanatanam. He also says that in which chapter? 7th chapter, he says, Bijam mam sarvabhutanam. I am the seed-giving father of all the living entities. So that's is the seed, generating seed of all existence. There is no being moving or non-moving that can exist without me. Moving and non-moving, chara. Yeah. Next, Priyamada Mataji, please read that verse. On the same question, Palak? On the same topic?
Yes, Mataji. So, Mataji, in the last line, it's written, whatever existence is not founded on the energy of Krishna is called Maya. But I think what we read is that Maya is also Krishna's illusory energy. So why does it say it's not Krishna?
What is it? Whatever existence is not founded on the energy of Krishna is called Maya. Maya is, it's temporary. It is not, it is one of the energies of Krishna. See, anything that belongs to Krishna is spiritual. Anything that is taking you away from Krishna is material, that which is not, which is Maya. So the energy that takes us away from Krishna, what is it? That is Krishna. What is it not is not, which is Maya, taking it away from Krishna. So that deluding potency is Maya. So don't
But
picture
isn't
don't keep,
everything Krishna?
no, it is one of the energies of Krishna. She is one of the energies of Krishna. However, her job is to take people away from him. She does most thankful job of taking people away from Krishna. That's why she also becomes very shy to come in front of Krishna. That's why she goes behind Krishna. She becomes like a shadow and goes behind Krishna. She doesn't like to come in front because her service is very thankless service to take people away from Krishna. So that is what it is, which is not, is that Maya, which is actually, she should not do that, but she does because that's her service. That is because Krishna has appointed her to do that service. That's because he wants to separate between real people and the people who are just non-real and not want to come to him but enjoy. So like that. It's temporary. I mean, we have understood the qualities of the Maya is temporary in nature and it's repetitive in that sense also. It exists, but it is not the, it can go away anytime. Since it is cyclic. It's not permanent. That making sense. But sometimes we don't have to necessarily read into the lines, get the gist, essence of it, having understood so much from the past. That makes sense?
Yes, Mataji, thank you.
Yes, Shalini?
Actually, Mataji, I was also confused about this last line. And then suddenly I got an answer that Maya is actually illusion, which is why it says that which is not. So illusion or delusion is Maya, which is why it's that which is not. Anyway, so that was my understanding.
Yeah. So Maya, what it does is it makes us understand that this is what it is that you require. This is what will make you the perfect and most happy person in this entire world. It makes us feel like that, and the human nature is such that we go hankering after it. But then after some time, it only makes us realize that which was not, like you went on something which is illusory. Yes, your realization on illusion, and it will have a hearty laugh. There it will laugh at you that, you came after this, which was not. You thought this is it, but it is not. So that's the illusion. It will definitely take us to the point and it will leave us and we go after it, and then it will have a hearty laugh. It's like taking our the place where we stand on it, it pulls us from that, like pulling us on we are standing on some mat, it pulls the mat from our feet. How will we feel? No grip. And then she has a hearty laugh. Yes, I did it so that you can just become entangled. So we don't become surrendered to her. we need to restrain. So all these knowledge that we are gaining, we need to restrain whenever things are, because her job is to constantly do this, constantly. Even though we are devotees, we are trying, but in that devotee also, she will try to put us through various tests so that we will not stop doing what we do and go after what she's telling. That's very hard. So we need to keep restrained, knowing all this knowledge and continue to follow on the way. Krishna has already said, right? Maya yetam tarantiti. She is my Nirajay. Surrender unto me, not to her. So remember whatever Krishna is telling. Will we read 40? I forgot. Probably not. Oh, you are supposed to read the. Did we read 40?
No, Mataji.
No. Priyamvada Mataji, can you recite?
Yes.
Nantosti mama divyanam
Nantosti mama divyanam
vibhutinam parantapa
vibhutinam parantapa
esha tuddeshatah prokta
esha tadeshtah prokto
vibhutir vistaro maya.
vibhute vistaro maya.
Okay, O mighty conqueror of enemies, there is no end to my divine manifestations. What I have spoken to you is but a mere indication of my infinite opulences. Please read, Mataji, the translation and the purport.
As stated in the Vedic literature, although the opulence and the energies of the Supreme are understood in various ways, there is no limit to such opulence. Therefore, not all the opulences and energies can be explained. Simply, a few examples are being described to Arjuna to pacify his
Next.
inquisitiveness.
Yeah. So, O conqueror of enemies, there is no end to my divine manifestations. What I have spoken to you is a mere indication of my infinite. Imagine if Arjuna were to give an entire, all the finite or infinite opulences of Krishna, will he have time and energy and mind to hear? Even how much of Krishna Katha can we hear? We need to stop at some point, right? Like I had now, fine, and come back. So we cannot take it, even if we are given the opportunity to take it so much. Our capacity is very limited. Even though there is so much of prasadam, we want to eat so much. How much can we eat? We have only that much that we can. Although we want to eat a lot, but our capacity, we can understand, is only that much. So our capacity to take things is very limited and finite. So how can we understand infinite opulences of Krishna? So that's why he's only giving a glimpse of some of the topmost that are prominent among the devatas, among the objects, among the. He covered all the major categories, right? Devatas, priests, living entities, mountains, rivers, trees, demons, demigods, sages. Like he covered the prominent ones, sun, moon, sky, like that. But how much can we understand? One simple thing that we can understand is the human body. Human body is got so many. Human body is functioning on its own. We give its food time to time and rest, and we do few things timely. Water and food we supply, but everything is taken care automatically. How the food digests every few hours. Are we thinking how the food is digesting? It's happening. Automatically it is happening. Are we even worried about it that it is happening? No, we're just functioning. And how intricately, how dexterously, how magnificently it is doing its purpose of things. And each and every organ, entire human doctor, this medical field has put their life and resources and their energies in understanding each and every one organ. Like for eyes, there is a specialist, so much of science, so many books for each and every organ, like eyes, ears, nose, tongue, stomach, genitals, hands, legs, brain, heart, lungs, so many organs, so much of medical science is developing their knowledge to understand the workings of these organs and get to the foothold, get to the sort them out, like how they can understand this. Are they coming to an end of it? No, they're still exploring small things that are coming up into their purview. So that's about one human being. Like medical field is for the human beings. Like that, how many species? Everyone doing research on some species, like other species, but they are coming up with volumes and volumes of literature, books. So it's this is how infinite his opulences are. He has made this human being body in such a way that it can function, and so many people are putting their head to understand, not still able to understand. And Krishna has done that. Just one human being. And like that, there are so many other species and so much of other. So how can you understand the glories or infinite potencies, opulences of Krishna? So we just have to understand that he is unlimited, infinite opulences. And we go from there. Okay. So last two verses. Yeah, last two. Yeah. Did we cover everyone reading today?
Narayan Prabhu said he can
Yeah,
read, Mataji.
You can read?
I was
Okay.
gonna say the same. You did.
Yes, Prabhu. 41. Yad
Sure.
yad vibhuti mat sattvam
Yad yad vibhuti mat sattvam
Srimad ujitameva va
Srimad urjitam eva va
tattat eva vagachatvam
tatat eva gacha tvam
mama tejomsa sambhavam.
mama tejoma sambhavam.
Know that all opulent, beautiful, glorious creations spring from but a spark of my splendor. Read the purport.
Any glories or beautiful existence should be understood to be a fragmental manifestation of Krishna's opulence. Whether it be in the spiritual or material world, anything extraordinarily opulent should be considered to represent Krishna's opulence.
So everything it is tattad eva vagachatvam mama tejosa sambhavam. Anything beautiful. Ujitam. Vibhutimam is greatest. Sattvam is eternal. Urjitvam is a splendor, like, opulent. Anything glorious, beautiful should be understood to be a but fragmental a manifestation of Krishna. Okay, so that's anything that you see is Krishna's representation. It's not Krishna himself. It is not he is becoming like that, but it's a representative of Krishna. It's just a spark of his splendor, just a tiny spark. Now he says, last verse. Anybody left? Yes, still or
Mataji, can I read?
who is this?
Kartika.
Oh, sorry, did I miss you at all?
Yes, Mataji, no problem.
Oh, you are part of Vivek Prabhu's.
Yes.
Okay, yes, please read. Atava bahunaitena
Atava bahunaitena
kim jnatena tava arjuna
kim jnatena tavarjuna
vishtabhyaham idam krishnam
vishtavyaham idam krishnam
ekam senasito jagat.
ekam sena stito jagat.
But what need is there, Arjuna, for all this detailed knowledge? With a single fragment of myself, I pervade and support this entire universe. Please read the purport.
The Supreme Lord is represented throughout the entire material universes by his entering into all things as the Supersoul. The Lord here tells Arjuna that there is no point in understanding how things exist in their separate opulence and grandeur. He should know that all things are existing due to Krishna's entering them as Supersoul. From Brahma, the most gigantic entity, on down to the smallest ant, all are existing because the Lord has entered each and all and is sustaining them. There is a mission that regularly propounds that worship of any demigod will lead one to Supreme Personality of Godhead or the Supreme Goal. But worship of demigods is thoroughly discouraged herein because even the greatest demigods like Brahma and Shiva represent only part of the opulence of the Supreme Lord. He is the origin of everyone born, and no one is greater than him. He is Asamaurtva, which means that no one is superior to him, and that
no one is equal to him. In the Padma Purana, it is said that one who considers the Supreme Lord Krishna in the same category with demigods, be they even Brahma or Shiva, becomes at once an atheist. If, however, one thoroughly studies the different descriptions of the opulences and expansions of Krishna's energy, then one can understand without any doubt the position of Lord Krishna and fix his mind in the worship of Krishna without deviation. The Lord is all pervading by the expansion of his partial representation, the super soul, who enters into everything that is. Pure devotees therefore concentrate their minds in Krishna consciousness in full devotional service. Therefore, they are always situated in the transcendental position. Devotional service and worship of Krishna are very clearly indicated in this chapter in verse 8 through 11. That is the way of pure devotional service. How one can attain the highest devotional perfection of association with the Supreme Personality of Godhead has been thoroughly explained in this chapter. Srila Baladeva Vidyabhushana, a great acharya in disciplic succession from Krishna, concludes his commentary on this chapter by saying, Yat Shakti Leshat Suryadya Bhavantyati Ugrat Tejashaha Yad Amshena Dhritam Vishvam Sa Krishno Dasame Shrayate. From Lord Krishna's potent energy, even the powerful sun gets its power, and by Krishna's partial expansion, the whole world is maintained. Therefore, Lord Shri Krishna is worshipable. Hare Krishna.
Presents the Bhaktivedanta purpose of 10th
Perfect.
chapter of Srimad Bhagavad Gita in the matter of opulence of the absolute. Thank you very much. So, this verse finally, Krishna is saying, what is the use of all this knowledge? Just a single fragment of myself, I pervade and support the entire universe. And Prabhupada has concluded the chapter in this purport by talking about the various aspects that are covered in this chapter. And one of the most important thing is that 8 to 11 verses, which talks about the devotional service and worship of Krishna. Understanding Krishna's position, going deeper in understanding him by applying the principles, and through that process Krishna will help us to come out of the ignorance. So that is the way of pure devotion service, how one can attain the highest. It's a logically presented, how you know him, then you discuss about him, and then you realize him. So Krishna is helping us do that. It's pure devotion service aspect of it. So, and he's quoting various other scriptural references from Baladeva Vidyabhushan, saying Chakti Leshat Suryatya Bhavanti Yati Ugrati Jasaha Yad Amsena Ritam Vishwam Sa Krishna Dashame Uchate. So Krishna's potent energy, even the powerful sun gets his energy, and by Krishna's partial expansion, the whole world is maintained. So sun gets his energy, and such a sun is such powerful object, a radiant object. He gets his energy. And Krishna is maintaining this entire universe just by a fraction of his splendor. So you can imagine his potency. Sun is such an illuminating object. He is getting his energy from Krishna. And Krishna is saying this entire universe, he only manifests by spark, the splendor. So that's how you can understand his vibhutis are infinite. Yeah, so that's how we conclude this chapter here. Any other questions?
Mataji, is yad in this verse Dvandva that we were just talking about? No, sorry, not in this verse, the previous verse, 41. Is that Dvandva that we were talking about? Yad, and the other one is tat, that's slightly different though.
The example Prabhupada gave is Ramakrishna. I was also thinking about Ramakrishna, but immediately in the purport we could see that. That is Ramakrishna, what he said. Then we have examples is, so when you say something repeated, like pratak is what you get, tat is to repeat, to emphasize it.
Would it be nasteva in the, in the Krishna Naam Kevalam, Hare Naam Kevalam, Nasteva. Yeah.
The Dvandva examples, let's see.
It's not extremely important, but I was just curious.
Yeah, Ramakrishna is what Prabhupada said in the example. I want to see some more examples. Yeah, meetha katta, sweet and sour, katta meetha, heat and cold, shitoshna, day and night, mata pita, like that.
Oh, I see. I see. Okay, got it. Got it. Thank you.
Pati patni, pani. Anyway, like that. Okay, then we will conclude here. Next week we'll start 11th chapter, more interesting chapter. Yep. Thank you very much. Manchakalpatarubhyascha kripasindhubhyocha patatanam pavanebhyo vaishnavibhyo namo namaः. Anantakoti Vaishnavindi ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
thank you.
Krishna.